Good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to yet another Monday morning show. I'm Ken LaSalle, that writer who writes books and stuff. You can find out more on kenlasalle.com. And today, I thought we might get bombed.
Woo! Bring out the beer!
Not that kind of bombed. You see, while you've calmly, quietly gone about living your life, listening to Trump be an asshole, or watching the Senate foam at the mouth at the prospect of peace breaking out with Iran, the United States passed a rather telling anniversary. On the 7th of August, our nation had officially been bombing ISIS, that Islamic State in the Middle East that is clearly not a state of any kind, and also, arguably, not even Islamic. Put on your fancy party hats and pick up a card from Target or somewhere that's not too expensive, because we have been bombing ISIS for 1 full year. Good luck picking out that card. Think about that, though. 1 year. Imagine your response if someone told you that Indiana had been bombed for 1 full year. Today, I would like to talk about bombing for peace. Like fucking for abstinence, it never works out exactly as we plan.
Cast your mind back to the days of yesteryear, when men were men and women were easy and bombs were just another way of saying diplomacy.
Why cast your mind back? Well, you know why, don't you? It's because this isn't the first time we've tried bombing our way to peace. No, we've been at this for some time. Our idea of bombing someone into submission, bombing for peace, began in World War II. We couldn't use that strategy before then because we didn't have the necessary planes or bombs for such a task. But once the U.S. and her allies dominated the skies over Europe, the plan was put into place, and we proceeded to bomb the shit out of everything that moved down there. Enemy troops, civilians, our troops. Hey, nobody's perfect. I should note here that we weren't the first to try this tactic. The Nazis tried it and failed. You might think we would have learned from them, but come on, since when do we learn? Between the U.S. and Great Britain alone, we dropped nearly 3 million tons of bombs. What happened? Well, the Nazis kept on fighting. They didn't give up. Turned out, they had nothing left to lose. The Nazis did not surrender until Allied forces were on their land and everything had gone to shit. Bombs alone do not work. Next up, we fought in Korea. I mean, like, really, really next. Like, just a few years later. We couldn't wait to drop more bombs. And rather than bog us down with numbers, and there are a lot of numbers because, surprise, there were a lot of bombs, let me just say that we dropped bombs on Korea and on Vietnam. We dropped bombs on Cambodia and Laos. We dropped bombs on Cuba, Indonesia, and the Dominican Republic. We bombed Peru and Lebanon, Grenada and Libya, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Panama, Iraq, Kuwait, Somalia, Bosnia, Sudan, Afghanistan, Yugoslavia, Serbia, Yemen, and, let's face it, if you're poor and violent, or maybe just poor, odds are the United States has dropped red-hot steaming death on your doorstep, as well as many places less polite to mention in public speech. And now we've been bombing ISIS, wherever they happen to be. Have they given up? No, because they have nothing left to lose. ISIS may be a bunch of idiot whack jobs with guns, and in that they have plenty in common with the United States, but they're also very poor idiot whack jobs with guns. We've taken everything they have, other than their hate. We think they'll give up because we think about what we would do in that situation. If Indiana really was being bombed, the good folk of Indiana may very likely surrender because they would want to keep their neighborhood Bennigans. Though I really have no idea why. They would want to hold on to their cozy little homes with their nice yards, the dog toys that never get picked up. The idiot kids who think that evolution only applies to Transformers. But ISIS has none of that. Not even a Bennigan's. Good move, ISIS. If we want to make peace, we have to find more peaceful means. Otherwise, we're just going to bomb hatred of us, into the hearts and minds of people around the world. And I know you may think we've already done that, what with the anti-US sentiments coming out of Syria and Somalia and, all those other places we've destroyed. But I would like to suggest that there is a correlation. We are doing something wrong. We need to stop. Oh, and why does our military keep dropping bombs even though it never seems to work? My wife, Vicky, answered that question for me. Vicky, who is half Japanese, reminded me of a little place called Hiroshima, which I will never pronounce correctly, I'm sure. So the lesson there is, if you turn people into nuclear rubble, they just might give in. I think we need to consider a different way, because that way of making peace comes at too great a cost. And that's it for today's show. Thanks for listening. Until next time, you can find me on kenlasalle.com. Be true to yourself, be kind to others, and let's make this world a better place.